question?
And the question is, women are struggling to find men that they can date.
Okay. Couple things. Number one, Black women cannot, shall not, should not expect a Black man to be able to provide them with the same type of a lifestyle that a Caucasian can provide for the white female. Because the Caucasian benefits from white privilege, the Black man suffers from white racism. So we should not be, no sister should be looking for a European equivalent or an African equivalent of a European. A Black man has to work twice as hard to get half as much. So although I can appreciate the financial equity, but if you are a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer as an African woman in Australia or America or the UK or Toronto or Johannesburg, looking for a Black man who has financial equity with your type of career success, that's going to be difficult. You might got to tone it down a little bit. What I find as a therapist who works with couples, married, divorced.
All right, we're done with that. That was a quick clip. As soon as he said therapist, I was like, all right, we out. Man, so
he actually is a licensed therapist. That's his day job. So it doesn't surprise me he would take you there.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's not a therapist, but man, good luck to those folks.
I just dropped an article in there. He made a point that it's unreasonable for a Black woman to expect a Black man to provide her the same lifestyle that a white man could. He blamed it on racism. I agree with the point, but I disagree with the reason. And this chart to kind of tell you where I stand. There's a graph right there at the very top. Mm-hmm. This is in the United States. It's the average salary of a middle-aged man, 20 to 59, by race, and you can see there's some discrepancies there. If you
a little bit.
Yeah. So for that reason alone, I would say that it's unreasonable to expect that same lifestyle. We got to get our money up, and we're definitely capable of doing that. That's number one. Number two, Dr. Umar is talking about a woman essentially taking what she's earning and funneling it into the man's dream or his purpose. I'm okay with that. But again, I'm a traditional gender roles guy, so I'm the provider. So if whatever money my wife makes, if she wants to sew it into what I'm doing, cool. I'm good with that. This backdrop that you see behind me right now, she sold into it because she believes in what we're doing right here. So that's normal. But a lot of women don't think like that because they don't trust men right now. Some of that is justified, but most of it is not. We got to do a better job of standing on our square, chasing our purpose, and doing what we're supposed to do. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Even though I showed you that chart with the income disparities, collectively, Black people in America still are a very powerful economy. We just have to focus on where those dollars are going. So I reject Dr. Umar's original premise on Black men and white men and the type of lifestyle they can provide for their women.
Hey, just going back to this, you notice, wow, this is really bad. So while all the other communities, just rolling in the dough, if you look at like when the Black community, 2005, 2006, the Black community was at 35.3. And then 2010, 2011, then we drop. And that's everyone else drops, but man, is a drop. And then you get to 2015, 2016, 32,800. And then you get to 2019, 2020, 35,300, which, a lot of these communities, for people that say, under Trump, the community was, they weren't making any good money. That's a damn lie. From what I can tell, these people were making money, started to make some money. It looks like everybody was like kind of dropping in the 2010, 2011. I don't have to tell the class who was president during that time, but anyway, so back to Dr. Umar. I can understand why he's saying this, but unfortunately, women are not signing up for that. And I don't think women should have to sign up for that as well too, because you're essentially saying for a lot of these women, especially if you got dreams, like whatever your dream is, you got to make that work. You got to make it happen. Ain't nobody going to make it happen for you. Longer are the days where you can kind of get away with that type of stuff, where everything is a partnership. in a sense of like, actually, it's never really been a partnership. It's really
Y'all
just
can have that partnership stuff.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
have it. No, sir. I'm the head.
yeah, yeah. It's
You can be anything else, but not the head. That's me.
right. And so a lot of times it's really been men, but this really highlights an issue where, again, this is, and I've said this before, DEI does not help Black men. So when it comes to like for a lot of these, these genders or female gender as well as non-Black male, they're not contributing. Like for some of these folks, and I will say some more getting it just on merit, but for the other ones, like for a lot of these, DEI programs that are going towards or specifically going towards helping specific genders, like there's a lot of women organizations out there that are helping them out and everything. Men, you're just left out. This DEI stuff, this is a great example of DEI not helping you, but really just to focus back on the women are not going to sign up for this. And again, I don't think women should. For men, for you to reach your potential, you got to get out the mud. You got to like put in the work. You got to like wake up. You got to work multiple jobs, because at the end of the day, that woman is not going to be able to understand what you're going through. She's not going to want to be holding you down while she's out there working her 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. What's she doing with you? She could be with me. Like, if you a broke ass, then she needs to be with a dude that can get her that money, or at least, end up like helping her out, or at least paying a bill or something. Like, why would she stay with like some homosexual where she can be with some guy that does have money, or a guy that can provide for her? Why?
She's doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care what none of these women say. Y'all all are sleeping with some bums, and more than likely y'all sharing the same bum. And maybe he piping you down well. Maybe you like him because you want to be a mother and you like taking care of him and telling him what to do. It's probably one of those two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
More than likely, though, it's because, again, you've never seen masculinity properly executed in your life, and you don't know what to do when it happens.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and by the way, I just posted the same chart in the link. I dropped the link for the women. You can see there's some differences in races too.
So the first one was men.
Yeah, the first one was men. This one's
okay.
women. Yeah, so you'll see.
Wow.
Basically, the Asians are kicking everybody's ass, men and women. But I think to deep dive and get to the root of this, I'm going to see if I can find a study that breaks down college majors by race, because I suspect if you look at us compared to other groups, you're probably going to find a lot of more nonsense degrees that don't give you a proper return on investment. And we've essentially moved away from trades, which we need to go back to. But ultimately, what Dr. Umar is saying, if properly executed, it can work, because if you start a business and you eventually get to the point where you can employ your wife and take her out of the workforce, so she's not as stressed, and not only that, but she's got more time to handle the situation at home with the kids. I'm a big proponent of a woman who's a mother and a wife should have the option to work. And if she doesn't want to, she shouldn't have to. But if she stays home, she's going to be teaching these kids, because I don't want the world influencing our kids. And that's the problem now. If you are in a relationship with somebody and y'all both work full time, more than likely, you're not spending enough time with them to influence them, because you're working 40 hours a week. By the time you get home from work, you got to cook and clean and make sure everything is set up. You probably only spend time with them on the weekends. So when you look at it realistically, they're being influenced more by strangers that you don't even know more than they are by you. And then as they start getting older, then they're going to start being influenced by their friends. So what we have right now ain't working. So I see what the ultimate intent is, and what Dr. Umar is saying. Look, sell into my dream. Make sure let's work this thing out so it takes off, and then I'm gonna pull you out of your place of work, and you can either come work for me or you can stay home and be a whole lot happier. I think that's how the family unit should be. In that, but again, women wanted to go to work, so now you're my competition. If I'm not married to you, and we work in the same place, guess what? You're my competition. So now I'm going to beat you in every statistical category, and not physically be, you know what I mean. I'm going to compete with you and win, because corporations use a bell curve to turn people against each other. The top performers get the best raises. So I'm trying to get that spot and beat you out of it. But guess what? You're a mother. If I have a problem with my daughter, I can just tell my wife, hey, can you stay home today? I'm gonna work some extra hours. But if you, as a mother, are competing with me, if you got a problem with your kids, you got to take off and go home.
Mhm.
So you don't have the flexibility I have. So all of that matters when Dr. Umar's logic. Sell into my dream. Let's build something. You help me build it too. And then I'll pull you out of whatever situation you in, and we're gonna work this thing out.
You think men are built like that today?
No, they're not. But that's how it should be. I would argue that at one point we were, but again, that's going to put me on my soapbox when I talk about integration and how it made us weaker. But
Yeah.
no, there aren't a lot of men built like that today. There aren't a
And
lot of men who even know what their purpose is. You got to start there. Know your purpose and then go from there.
see, you would have me, you almost had me, but nope. I just remembered 92% of B dubs voted for Kamala. As a community together, about 70% or 72% voted, and that's just a black vote. I don't know what it was for the cucks or the other ones. Like, I don't know what it was over there. So asking people, like, I'm not confident that the men of today can lead women, because we just saw a bunch of people tell us that what's her face is a black woman who is married to a you know who ish and has no kids, but is telling you to delete your babies, specifically the black community babies. And we had a bunch of people just shame people just for just having a conversation and mentioning something about her. And so that said, these folks, I don't trust them, and as sure as hell I'm not going to trust that a woman is going to stand by me while I try to get out of the mud so she can listen to a vision. I think women, when it comes to women, they're very fickle with their feelings. We say in the divorce, we say when it comes to custody. So thinking that she's going to stand by you until you can get it out the mud, or at least get the business to like some type of certain level, especially if she like you could probably do it in your 20s when you're in college because everybody broke. But when you get to your 30s, that's gonna be tough. And when you get to your 40s and you're trying to convince her, like, look, I can make this work. I just need you to believe in me. She's not gonna stand by you. They ain't gonna do it. I mean, they're complaining about like getting taken
That's
to
what
church.
faith. That's what faith is, though. Faith is trusting and believing in something without having the full tangible evidence that it's there.
Mhm.
But believe it or not, I actually agree with you. What I'm saying is how it should be, but what you are saying is how it actually is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're not that far off. I agree with you. A lot of men aren't equipped to lead, and a lot of women are just, frankly, they don't trust anything or anybody, so they can't be led. So
Yeah. Well,
now we're here where everybody's just competing with each other.
yeah, and you have the women, the men, the Democratic Party. They're ran by women, and so women seeing that, oh well, you're gonna fall in line with whatever I say. So I can be the leader. You don't need to be the leader anymore. The women, and I've heard this said before on in these spaces where women have become the new men and men have become the new women. Like this is the state of affairs that we're at, and trying to save men. I mean, you got CGA out there, you have Anton Daniels out there, you had KS Kevin Samuels, you have the Angry Man. All these guys are out here trying to minus Kevin, but all of these men are out here trying to. They want the best out of men. They want you to like enjoy your life and be there for your families, or grow your family, or whatever the case is. They get the most pushback from men. I see it in their comments. I see it in their chats. I see men. We saw it in our chat, just having a disagreement over Kendrick. So I don't know what it is about these men, and I don't think it's like even like an age thing too, because the majority of the men that are, I believe, some of the men that are out there, they're kind of in their 30s and 40s. So
Yeah.
I want to say like men in their 20s are probably not having these types of conversations because they're just, they're enjoying their, their 20s until they, have to like really get things under control though. But a lot of these men out here and, just from how they've been operating, I can see why women will not stand by. Well, I mean, like I said, I know women won't stand by, and I don't think they should stand by. Like if you got like for women, and we know this about women, they got their market value up front. So if they're gonna hold it off, like, hey, I'm gonna be in this, I'm gonna settle down with you, and all I gotta do is faith. Women today are just not gonna do that. And me, honestly, if I see a woman, she stayed with the guy for like maybe I don't know, like 5 years, he was a bum ass loser, man, you getting slotted.
Yeah.
You let that dude run you, like give you just on his word, based on what?
We talked about this before, and Kevin Samuels is the first person I heard say it. But you said it too. When a woman is born, she has value right away.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get value until later on in life. Our value is based on our outsources and our outcomes, our outputs and our outcomes. I mean,
Yeah.
And it's kind of a trade-off because she's starting high, we're starting low, and eventually we're going to. It's like an inverse curve of each other.
Yep.
And it doesn't help that colleges are slut factories. I've heard Anton Daniel say that, and he's 100% right.
Yes.
Colleges are making sluts out of people. And if you like a slut, cool, good for you. But a lot of people don't want to marry a slut. So there's that.
Well, they don't want to know they're marrying a slut, but they are.
Yeah, there's a lot of married people getting tossed around, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Dr. Umar, I think he's just selling dreams because there's no what he's trying to say and how he's getting there. I can see how some people can sign off on that, and he's talking specific and to simply say that Black women or they're not operating like white women, bullshit. A lot of these white women are out here saving some of these dusty dudes. I say it all the time. I'm like, nah, we gotta have standards over here. Like at some point for a lot of men, you once you get a bag, your options, your choices, it's going to change. So if you're looking for a type of chick or want a chick to take you serious, as soon as you get some money, like, and I know I want people to, I want somebody to love me. Well, good luck trying to find that. You can find it in the mess of women that have broke up their marriages to go be with some dude at their job who didn't want them but just bust them down, and then also tell your kids why your mom wants to get bust down versus saving her family. Like, let's have that conversation. So for a lot of the men, keep thinking. And I saw a lot of men were like co-signing this, and this is terrible. Like we're the Black community is really in bad shape. And if we can't have men as the leaders, like at one point, I think I've told you this before too, like this election cycle was a great chance for the Black community to kind of band together and have our own party. Like call it whatever you want, but this was the chance to do it. I no longer believe that's ever going to happen. People are just too ingrained in trying to be a victim, and people just want these handouts that are destroying this country, and they want these handouts in their marriages. Women are online 24/7 telling you they don't want these types of men. They have 304 talk. You know what 304 talk is, do you?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But look, here, one thing I learned, they say they don't want that shit publicly, but privately they still yearn for it. They just gotta they need to deal with their traumas. They need to get over their exes, and they gotta take some accountability for letting people skeet in them that shouldn't have been skeeting in them. But
yeah,
you brought up the nuclear family is linked to our political power and our economic power.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on full display when the Dems, and I keep saying this, and I believe this to be true. I think a huge reason why the Dems lost was they asked BWs what BMs want, but they can't speak for us right now because our family dynamic is so messed up that they don't know us.
Yeah.
So that's it. We can't be taken as a serious political group until we fix the nuclear family. And that's not any disrespect to the LGBT folks, but the nuclear family is what sustains us and keeps us going. So it needs to start there. That needs to be repaired first. And that's going to require people to admit their mistakes and repent and change it up. But some people don't even like apologizing. So I don't see it for happening in the foreseeable future.
Oh, apologize, man. Good luck. Good luck. That apology is not going to happen or ever even come close to an apology. And the crazy thing is, whenever anything hits the fan, you're gonna need a dude. And good luck trying to find a dude that's gonna be stepping up and be that guy for you, or at least be that guy for your kids as well too.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, next topic.